After driving my mom to chemotherapy every week for 6 months, I missed one appointment because my daughter had a seizure. When I got to the hospital late, my sister was already there. She looked at me and said, "You're not her son anymore. Mom changed the will." I laughed until I saw the legal papers in her bag. That night, I went home and found my key no longer worked. For the last 6 months, every Tuesday and Friday like clockwork, I drove my mom to her chemo treatments at Mercy One in Des Moines. I never missed a single appointment. I planned my work meetings around her appointments, rearranged my whole life to be there for her. She was diagnosed with ovarian cancer the week after Halloween. It hit her fast. By Thanksgiving, she could barely eat. By Christmas, she had already started losing hair. She was scared. So was I. My sister, Melanie, didn't really help. She posted a lot on Instagram. Said things like, "Prayers for Mom," and "Cherish your loved ones." But she wasn't around. She lived 20 minutes away. Didn't have a job. No kids. Nothing keeping her too busy. She just didn't show up. When I asked if she could cover one appointment back in February because I had a work deadline, she said, "You know, hospitals make me uncomfortable." That was it. So I dropped it. I didn't push. I figured I'd just keep doing it. I don't say this to brag, but I did everything. Drove her. Sat through hours of waiting rooms. Listened to the doctors. Took notes. Helped her walk when her legs started giving out. I changed her sheets when she had accidents. I cleaned her puke out of the carpet. I was the one who clipped her toenails because she couldn't bend over anymore. I even installed a handrail in her hallway to keep her from falling. Melanie? She showed up on Mother's Day with flowers and took a selfie of them holding hands. That post got over 200 likes. I didn't complain. I just kept doing what had to be done. Then, one Friday in May, my daughter had a seizure. Maddie is 8. Never had a seizure before. She was in gym class when it happened. Her teacher called me screaming. Said Maddie collapsed and was shaking. Her lips turned blue. By the time I got to the school, they were loading her into the ambulance. I rode with her. My wife met us at the ER. I texted Mom during all this. Told her what was going on. Said I couldn't make the appointment, that I was sorry, but my daughter was in the hospital and I didn't know what was happening. No reply. Later that evening, around 6, Maddie was stable and asleep. I drove straight to the hospital to see Mom. I was still in the same clothes I wore to work. My hands were shaking. Melanie was already in the room. She was sitting in the chair next to Mom's bed, arms folded, like she owned the place. When she saw me, she stood up. "You're not her son anymore," she said. I thought I misheard her. "Excuse me?" "She changed the will," Melanie said. "You're out." I laughed. Like an actual, tired, painful laugh. "Okay. Sure, Melanie. Real mature." She didn't say anything. She just looked at me like she pitied me. Then she grabbed her tote bag from the floor and a folder slipped out. Yellow paper. Legal documents. I saw a lawyer's letterhead and Mom's name printed on the top. My stomach dropped. That night, I drove to Mom's house. I still had a key. I figured I'd let myself in, sit down with her, and talk this out. I told myself it was a mistake. That Melanie was just being her dramatic self. But when I put my key in the lock, it didn't turn. I tried again. Then again. I even jiggled the doorknob like an idiot. Nothing. She changed the locks. I stood there on the porch for a while. The living room lights were on. I could hear the TV. I knew she was in there. I rang the doorbell. No one answered. For 3 days I texted and called. No response. Finally, I got a one-line text. "I need space. I'm tired of being disappointed." That hit harder than anything. After everything I did. After every ride, every appointment, every long night sitting next to her while she groaned in pain, I was just a disappointment. Because I missed one day. Because I chose my daughter in a medical emergency. That's when I realized Melanie had been planning this. I started digging. A neighbor told me Melanie moved in 2 weeks ago. Said she brought in boxes, even hired a cleaning crew. That was news to me. I started going through everything I had: texts, calendars, doctor's appointment emails, medication logs, pictures, receipts. I gathered it all. I needed to see if I was crazy or if something really messed up was happening. That's when I saw it. 2 weeks ago, Melanie filed for power of attorney. Quietly. She did it during the time when Mom's white blood cell count was crashing, when she could barely stay awake for more than a few hours a day. Melanie used that window to get full legal control. She told Mom I didn't show up because I didn't care. That I abandoned her for my own family. That I was. Always looking for an excuse. She twisted everything. Made me out to be selfish. Disloyal. Then she got Mom to sign over everything. I talked to a lawyer. I brought him everything I had. Every screenshot. Every call log. Every email. I built a timeline so detailed it could have been used in court. That's what we were planning for. We filed a formal challenge to the new will and to the POA. The case focused on undue influence and mental incapacity. Melanie got served. She went full meltdown mode. Blocked me on everything. Left me out of any updates about Mom's condition. Even posted that I was manipulating the situation. But the court saw through it. A court-appointed investigator went to Mom's house and interviewed her. By then, she was weaker. Frilier. But still had moments of clarity. When she was shown the financial records, thousands in cash withdrawals, missing jewelry, unexplained charges on her bank account, something changed in her face. She looked at me. I'll never forget her words. I didn't know. I didn't know she did all that. We haven't even gone to full court yet. But the judge already threw out the amended will. It's not over. Not even close. But now the truth is starting to come out. And Melanie has no idea what's waiting for her next. After the judge tossed out the new will, Melanie stopped pretending to be the perfect daughter. She got loud. She started sending texts to my wife. Accused her of turning me against the family. Said we were after Mom's money. That we manipulated a dying woman into changing her wishes. She even left a voicemail saying, "If you think you've won, you haven't seen what I've got next." We didn't reply. We just kept documenting everything. Meanwhile, Mom's condition got worse. Her blood pressure kept dropping. She had to be admitted again. This time, she didn't want Melanie at the hospital. She asked for me. I walked into the room, and she just broke down crying. Told me she couldn't believe she let Melanie lie to her like that. She felt ashamed. Said she wanted to fix things. I told her she didn't need to fix anything right then. She needed rest. We'd take care of everything else. But things weren't that simple. Melanie didn't go down quietly. Turns out, while she had POA, she didn't just take out money, she moved it. She drained one of Mom's savings accounts and opened a new one in her own name. She forged Mom's signature on a withdrawal form. Transferred almost $28,000 to herself. The bank flagged it as suspicious, but when they called the house, Melanie answered and said it was approved. We found out when my lawyer subpoenaed her financials. My jaw dropped. She wasn't just stealing. She was systematic about it. She'd been draining little amounts weekly, sometimes daily. She even used Mom's credit card to pay off her own Target card. But the worst part? She had listed the house for sale. Yep. Behind everyone's back, Melanie had quietly started the process of selling Mom's house, the home we grew up in. The realtor had already taken pictures. There was a private listing. Melanie was trying to offload it fast, probably before the courts finished untangling everything. I only found out because one of Mom's neighbors, a retired guy named Vince, called me. He said he saw a "for sale by owner" sign go up in the window and got confused. I didn't even believe him at first. I drove straight there. And there it was. That ugly plastic sign in the front window. I knocked on the door. No answer. I tried my key, still didn't work. So I just sat in my car across the street and waited. An hour later, Melanie pulled up in a rented SUV. When she saw me, her face twisted. She looked nervous. I didn't say a word. Just watched her fumble with her keys and walk inside. 5 minutes later, she came out holding a giant trash bag full of clothes and a small suitcase. She drove off. That was the last time she stepped inside the house. Turns out, the bank started their own investigation once they got wind of the court case. And Melanie, being as dumb as she was greedy, had put some of the stolen funds into crypto, on platforms that were easily traceable. Her bank froze her accounts. Her car got repossessed 2 weeks later. Her credit score dropped over 150 points in a single month. Meanwhile, Mom officially gave me back medical POA. I moved her into a small room in our house. She needed more care now. My wife helped. Even my kids got used to her being there. It wasn't easy. She was bitter, angry at herself. She'd stare at the TV for hours, quiet. But every once in a while, she'd say something like, "I'm sorry I didn't believe you." Or, "Melanie always knew how to twist people." She started asking to look at photo albums again. Asking about Dad. About the old days. It felt like a piece of her was coming back. Then we got a letter from Melanie's lawyer. She was threatening to sue us. claimed we were mentally abusing our mother, that we coerced her into reversing the will, said we were isolating her and exploiting her for financial gain. I showed it to Mom. She actually laughed. Said, let her try. So we hit back hard. My lawyer filed a countersuit. Elder financial abuse, fraud, breach of fiduciary duty. We added in attempted theft, misrepresentation, and more. Melanie thought she could push people around, lie, play victim. But now, she was the one getting dragged into depositions. And trust me, court gets real when there's money, documents, and a paper trail. But then something happened I didn't expect. Mom's oncologist called me one morning and said we needed to come in. The cancer had spread. Her latest scans showed new masses. It wasn't just the ovaries anymore. Her liver was involved now. Maybe more. That hit me like a truck. We sat down with her. Told her what it meant. She didn't cry. She just nodded. Said she knew her body was shutting down. Then she said, I want to do one more thing before I go. I asked what? She said, I want to finish this. I want to face her. She meant Melanie. 3 days after that talk with the doctor, Mom asked me to bring her to the attorney's office. She wanted to make everything crystal clear, again. She was done leaving things to chance. We rolled her into that office in a wheelchair. Her skin was pale, her voice barely above a whisper. But she looked the lawyer dead in the eyes and said, I want Melanie's name off everything. If I die tomorrow, she gets nothing. She re-signed her estate plan. She left what was left of her bank accounts to my kids. She asked the lawyer to make a video recording of her statement, just in case Melanie ever tried to contest it again. It was smart. Painful, but smart. Then Mom turned to me in the car on the way home and said, I want to see her. I asked if she was sure. She was. We didn't have to search for Melanie. She showed up 2 days later on her own. She pulled into our driveway in a rusted-out Honda that looked like it barely made it there. I don't know if someone tipped her off or if she just got desperate, but she came to the front door like nothing had happened. My wife saw her first. Called me over. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. Melanie looked like hell. Bags under her eyes. Her hair looked greasy, and she was wearing one of Mom's old coats. I need to see her, she said. You think she wants to see you? She's my mother. I just stared at her. Didn't say a word. Look, she said. I've made mistakes, okay? But I never meant to hurt anyone. I still didn't say anything. Then, through the window, I saw Mom wave. Weak. Slow. But she nodded. So I let her in. The house was silent. Melanie walked in slowly like she was scared something would jump out at her. I led her into the living room. Mom was in the recliner, wrapped in a blanket. Melanie knelt beside her. Mom, she said softly. I'm so sorry. I messed up. I was scared. I didn't know how to help. I didn't know how to deal with everything. Mom looked at her for a long time. Then she said, I trusted you. I know. I raised you better than that. I know. You stole from me. Melanie started crying. Or pretending to cry. I honestly couldn't tell anymore. You lied to me about your brother. Mom said. He was there for me every day. You told me he abandoned me. I was angry. You made me feel like he didn't love me anymore. I was jealous. He always did everything right, and I didn't know where I fit. Mom looked at her, no emotion on her face. You don't fit here anymore. Melanie's face crumbled. I'm dying, Mom said flatly. And you won't be a part of it. Melanie stood up. Her tears stopped. Just like that. She looked at me. So this is how it ends, huh? You win. I didn't reply. She turned and walked out. I thought that would be the end of it. But it wasn't. 2 weeks later, I got a letter from the Iowa Department of Revenue. Someone had filed a report accusing me of stealing from Mom's estate. Claimed I was draining her accounts for personal gain. I laughed at first. But when I talked to our attorney, he said, this is serious. False reports can still trigger audits. And if anything looks even slightly off, they could freeze her accounts. We tracked the complaint. Guess who filed it? Melanie. She was trying to delay the case, hoping Mom would pass before the court could finalize everything. Then maybe she could find some loophole to claw her way back in. That's when I decided it wasn't enough just to defend. We had to go on offense. Our attorney filed a new civil claim. This time, it wasn't just about the will. It was about criminal-level fraud. We submitted everything. The bank records. The POA history. the forged signatures, the fake complaint she filed. And then we dropped the biggest piece, a recorded phone call from Melanie to one of her friends. It came from a woman she used to be close with. Apparently, Melanie borrowed money from her and then ghosted her. When she found out what Melanie was doing to Mom, she offered us the voicemail. In it, Melanie says, and I quote, "All I need is her to die before the court date. Then I'll have a shot again. That's the only way I win this." We gave that to the judge. The court date was set for 2 weeks later. Mom asked me to bring her, no matter how weak she felt. She wanted to look her daughter in the face, one last time, and say what she had to say. We wheeled Mom into the Polk County Courthouse on a gray Tuesday morning. She was weaker than ever. Her cheeks were hollow, her voice barely a whisper, but she insisted on wearing makeup. Said she wanted to look strong. She wore her wedding ring, a scarf I gave her on her birthday, and a small gold cross around her neck. Melanie was already inside, sitting next to her lawyer, acting calm, flipping through papers like she still thought she had a shot. But when she saw Mom, how frail she looked, her whole face changed. You could tell she didn't expect her to make it. She thought Mom would be gone by now. The judge didn't waste time. Our attorney played the voicemail first. Melanie's voice rang through that courtroom like poison. "All I need is her to die before the court date. Then I'll have a shot again. That's the only way I win this." I looked over. Melanie wasn't even trying to deny it. Just stared down at her hands, cheeks burning red. Then the judge asked Mom if she wanted to say anything. She nodded. The bailiff helped her stand. Barely. But she stood. She looked at Melanie, no tears, no anger, just tired truth. "I gave you everything," she said. "Even after all your selfishness, I still let you in. And you used that to rob me. You made me think my own son didn't love me. You wanted me dead for a chance at money. You're no daughter of mine." Melanie looked away. Couldn't hold her stare. The courtroom was silent. You could hear a pin drop. Then Mom sat down. The judge ruled in our favor. He didn't just void the fraudulent will, he declared Melanie financially liable for everything she took. Every dollar. Every transaction she made while under false POA authority. That included $27,940 in stolen funds, $4,200 in unauthorized credit card purchases, the missing jewelry, appraised at $12,000, legal fees for both sides, a $15,000 penalty for elder financial abuse, total judgment, $63,140 plus court costs. But it got worse for her. Mom had already filed a criminal complaint with the county DA. The voicemail sealed it. Melanie was arrested 3 days later for fraud, elder abuse, theft, and perjury. Her bail was set high. No one paid it. We found out later she called our uncle in Minnesota asking for money. He told her to go to hell. By the end of that month, she had lost her apartment, her car, repoed again, her spot on her church's charity board, most of her so-called friends, every cent she had in any bank account, and to top it off, the woman she used to work with, the one she owed money to, sued her too. Small claims court. 1. Garnished her future wages. Melanie's name became poison. She went from fake influencer, daughter of the year, to an unemployed felon on house arrest waiting for trial. Mom passed away 5 weeks after the hearing. She died peacefully, in our home, holding my hand. Her last words to me were, "Thank you for coming back. I see it all clearly now." We buried her next to Dad in Oakwood Cemetery. Small service. No drama. No Melanie. In her final letter, which she wrote 2 days before she died, she said, "I'm not proud of what I believed, but I am proud of who you became. You took care of me even when I failed you." After her death, we sold the house. Per her will, all the proceeds went into a trust for my kids. Every cent Melanie thought she was going to get went into college savings, therapy, and a family trip to Oregon, one place Mom always wanted to see but never got the chance. We spread some of her ashes near Crater Lake. She would have loved it. As for me, I've made peace with it. But I'm not naive anymore. I learned that family can betray you deeper than any stranger. That loyalty has limits, and that blood isn't enough. Melanie tried to destroy everything I had. But in the end, she destroyed herself. And I didn't even have to lay a hand on her. All I had to do was let the truth do the work.